Hey folks, I'm Tim, and this upcoming video is going to be a little out of the norm because it's not going to be about presenting tips and tricks for English teachers and students. But since I'm human and another large part of my life is spent in ice rinks, I wanted to make this video to help out other groups of people I interact with, hockey goalies and goalie parents. Now, if you're one of the few folks who fit into the English teacher or student category and the hockey goalie community, this video will be extra applicable to you. A few years ago, my youngest son decided that he wanted to play hockey. And on top of that, he decided he wanted to be a goalie. Now, what's super awesome about being a goalie is how customizable all of the goalie gear is. What's not awesome about all of the custom gear is how expensive it is to customize it. So, I'm here to show you one of the ways that you can save some money by customizing a goalie helmet with the images that you really want, rather than the least expensive stock images that many companies just offer. What's convenient about what I'm about to show you is that everything is either free or super cheap. In order to create your own custom helmet decals and put them on your helmet, you're going to need the following tools: a computer with internet access, vinyl sticker paper, access to a color printer, scissors, a hairdryer, a screwdriver, and an X-Acto knife. I'm going to model the full decal creation process with a goalie helmet from my son Atticus's friend. It's right here. Theo had a plain white helmet, and one day I began talking to him about the things that he liked. He told me that his favorite hockey team was the Vegas Golden Knights, his favorite goalie was Marc-Andre Fleury, and that he was really into jets and aviation. So I told him that if he was interested, I'd make him custom helmet decals that would represent his fandom and his passions. And once I got the information about what he liked, I went to work, and here's the step-by-step process that I used to customize this. Step 1, find some high-resolution pictures. In my case, I opened up Google and searched for Vegas Golden Knight wallpapers. Once I searched it, I clicked on the images to bring up all of the images that I could potentially use. Because it's important to have a high resolution image to do this, before scrolling down, I wanted to go to the Tools tab on the search and click on Size, and then I wanted to search for large size pictures. As I was scrolling, I knew I wanted to find an image that was gritty and a bit intimidating, and sure enough, I found it. I clicked on it and made sure that it was high resolution by checking out the numbers in the bottom right hand corner of the picture. In this case, it was 3840 by 2400. Typically above 1000 on either side of the X is going to be fine. I then wanted to right click on the view whole image in a new tab, and then I saved the image going to the tab where it was displayed and right clicking on it and saving the image as. I chose to title it and save it in my downloads folder, but you could save it wherever you'd like. Cool. Now I am going to have to do some image editing, but I'm one image down and it's on to the next. Because Atticus's friend's favorite goalie is Marc-Andre Fleury, I decided that it would be best to put an image of him on one side of the helmet. So back to Google. I found my picture. This time I actually went to the site that housed the picture and saved it from there. Great. Now I had to do some basic photo editing. But before I did, I wanted to move to step 2, which would be measuring the sides of the helmet so that I would know how big I would want to print my images on my vinyl sticker sheets. To do this, I just grabbed a fabric ruler, or you could use a tape measure, and I measured from the face opening to the rear of the mask. I then measured from the bottom of the mask on the side to right around the first straps that snap the back plate onto the top. Different helmet sizes bring out different measurements, so I'm not going to let you know what my measurements were. Just know that you should write down these measurements for future reference. Cool. Step 3 is the photo editing process. Normally I would use Photoshop because my school provides me with a subscription to Creative Cloud. But I want to make sure that anyone can do this customization for free or almost as free as possible. So instead, I'm going to model how to do some basic photo editing with free tools like Canva and Photopea. Both are linked in the description right below this video. I'm going to use Canva to get rid of the background of one of these pictures, and I'm going to use Photopea to do the key editing. So let's head to Canva first to try to remove some backgrounds. Okay, so you'll notice that the background remover didn't do an amazing job with this particular image. That's okay. For an image like this, it will be easier to deal with in Photopea, and I'll show you what I did in just a few moments. But I happen to know that Canva will absolutely be just what I need for the Marc-Andre Fleury picture. So I'll show you how this works. I added the photo, clicked the background remover, and sure enough, it worked perfect. I had to go over to the share button, click download, and when you do something like this, you want to make sure you save it as a PNG with a transparent background. If you don't save the image with a transparent background, it'll print out white on your vinyl paper, and you don't want that. You only want the image itself. One other note, some of the Canva features are for their premium members, but you should be able to start a free trial to gain access to those features. Or you can use another free online background remover, but it may not be as powerful. If you can't find another remover, you can learn how to remove a background with Photopea, and I'm about to show you that. But for an image like this Marc-Andre Fleury picture, it's gonna take a bit longer. Let's move on to the next step, the more technical photo editing. I'm headed over to photopea.com, and I wanna click on New Project. I wanna work on the Vegas sign side of the helmet first, so I'm going to provide a title like that. I'm going to change pixels to inches, and then I'm going to input 8.5 by 11 because that's the size of the vinyl paper that I'm going to be printing on. I want the DPI to be 300, and I want my background to be transparent. Boom, time to create. This is our 8.5 by 11 printing canvas. I'm going to leave this alone for a little bit because we have to edit the Vegas sign image and then get it on this sheet. So I'm going to go to File, click Open, and then load my Vegas sign image. Once my Vegas image is loaded, I want to make sure that the rulers are in inches because it's going to help with my printing eventually. I do this by right-clicking on the ruler and then just clicking inches. Also, if you don't see the rulers, just go up to View and click on Rulers. Now it's time to remove some backgrounds. I'm going to click on the Rectangle Select tool in the toolbar. If yours begins as a circle tool, that's okay. Just right-click on it and you'll see the rectangle tool. After I get this tool, I'm going to try to narrow in on the parts of the image that I'd like to keep. I'm going to make a box around it. Once the box is highlighted, I'm going to click Ctrl-C, which is copy, scroll up to the Vegas side tab, and then hit Ctrl-V, which is paste. I now have the image on an 8.5 by 11 sheet. I don't want to print this yet because it's not to size and there's still plenty of background that I need to remove. So let me show you how to remove the background and resize the image. I'm going to zoom in on the picture a bit by pressing Ctrl+. Then I'm going to use the Rectangle Select tool to select areas in the image that I'd like to delete. Once an area is selected, you won't delete any of the image outside of that selection area. Now, I have a bunch of background left over, but not a ton, so I'm going to use the Eraser tool to take care of what's left. I'm going to zoom in on the image and use my mouse to erase what I'd like to get rid of. I can change my eraser size in the top left-hand corner to be as precise as I would like. Let's do some erasing. I'm purposely not using the magic wand tool right here because it will select way more of the blacks than I need to. So, this is some work that's a little bit tedious. But, upon zooming out, you'll notice that I've got the image that I want. If you needed to remove the background from the other image, like the Marc-Andre Fleury image, this is how you would do it. Or you could use the magic wand tool, but you'd have to look up other YouTube videos on how to do that. It's easy, but not what I'm doing here. Anyway, now that we have the image we're looking to print, we have to actually make it fit the side of the helmet. So, we are now going to resize the image to match our initial measurements for the helmet. You'll notice that there are layers on the right-hand side of the screen. I'm going to click on the layer that has the image in it, in my case layer 1, and then I'm going to press Alternate plus Control plus T. Once the blue box shows up, you want to drag the image a little bit past the width of the back of the helmet to the facial opening, whatever that measurement was. We'll be able to cut out the excess around the facial opening later when we apply the decals. Also, the height here almost doesn't matter either because we'll be able to cut off all of the excess of the image to fit the contours of the helmet. One quick note here. If you're printing images to put on a black helmet, you'll want to add a black border to your image so that it will blend nicely with your helmet. To do this, you will want to add a stroke to the image. All you have to do is click on the layer of the image, click on the EFF in the bottom right-hand corner, and then click Stroke. Once the stroke comes up, you can adjust the pixel size of the stroke, making it thicker or thinner based on your preferences. Once your image is sized and given a stroke if you want it, you are going to save the image in a manner to print it on your vinyl sticker paper. Go to File, click Export As, and save this as a PNG. The PNG will make it so that the background is transparent when it prints. This is especially important if you chose to buy transparent vinyl printer paper. I also recommend you save this as a PSD file because you'll be able to open it with these layers again if you want to change your image in the future. Time to move on to image number 2, the Marc-Andre Fleury image. To do this, you'll want to set up an 8.5 by 11 inch canvas and do the exact same thing that you did before. In my case, I just need to resize the image because I've already removed the background. Once I put the Fleury image in Photopea, I just copied it and pasted it to the 8.5 11 sheet, and then I resized it. I saved it as a PNG, and I was good to go. Now that you have your pictures saved, you need to print. Basically, you want your printer settings to be appropriate to your paper, whether glossy or matte, but definitely set your settings to the photo paper. To print the decals on the side of the helmets, I typically use white vinyl paper. To print the stripes to put on the tops of the helmets and on the chin, I typically use clear vinyl paper. 25 sheets of each is like $13 on Amazon. That means you can mess up about 25 times if you need to. By the way, you won't. What this also means is that you can change your stickers as often as you'd like until you find out exactly what you or your child wants. When I originally did this with my son's first helmet, we changed his helmet about 5 times over the season. We started with the stock custom cages set that I paid over $30 for, and we finished with a Joker helmet that he really wanted and still has in his closet. We've since upgraded his helmet and got a custom paint job. Anyway, now it's time to print. The final steps are the cutting and the actual sticking. Normally, I use a Cricut to make precision cuts around the images I'm using, but not everyone has a Cricut. So I want you to see what a custom decal job can look like even if you cut with scissors. Okay, so I'm going to cut out the side images. Now, once you've cut the stickers, you'll want to apply them, but before you do, you need to take off the cage and snaps that are in the way. Put your hardware in a container. As you line up your stickers, do so slowly and lightly. If you need your stickers to have a little bit more give, or if they're really stuck to the helmet and you need to move them, use the hair dryer or the heat gun to make the sticker more pliable. Once the sticker is placed where you'd like it, you're going to use the sharp X-Acto knife to trim out the ventilation holes and trim off the excess from the facial opening and around the limits of the helmet. The sharper the knife, the easier this task is. I also recommend using a crafting razor that looks a little bit like a scalpel. It makes things much easier. You also want to make sure that there are no air bubbles under your sticker, and a credit card can be used to smooth these out if they're small. But for larger air bubbles, you'll want to heat the sticker up, peel it back a little bit, and then reapply it while you smooth it out with your thumb. Once you've placed all of your stickers, you can then reattach the cage and decide what else you'd like to add to the helmet. You'll notice that I decided to add some piloting imagery and numbers to the chin of this particular helmet. And I'm pumped to give this to Atticus's friend Theo in about a week. For the chin, I found the images that I wanted and I edited them the same way that I did with the larger side images, and I measured them out as well. This whole process took me about an hour and a half, and I got to have tons of fun, and when Atticus's friend decides that he wants something new on his helmet, I can help him again. Now, if you'd like stripes for the top of the helmet, I have a PDF of them right in the description below this video. If you don't know how to change their colors, I'll make a super quick video about how to do that to match your team in just a few weeks. And you'll want to subscribe to this channel and stay tuned because I'm going to make another video pretty soon about how to customize your goalie leg pads that can look like these for under $30, and it requires you to purchase 0 vinyl. When these videos are made, they're gonna pop up right here.